Good afternoon. This is a second video for the day. You'll notice that behind me isn't my lovely conservatory decoration, it's the fence panel through next door. The reason for that is the other side of the kitchen, the other side of the conservatory is full of, I wonder if this will work, just let me have a look. Yeah, the other side of the conservatory is full of washing. So I've been relegated and delegated. Now a little bit about a bit of an update about the September challenge. I have to say I am struggling, severely struggling with it. Not so much the weighing. I think I'm just getting a little bit disillusioned with Exante, with the diet, and I will explain why, because I don't really want this to come down onto Exante. It comes down onto me. As you know, if you've been watching the videos, you will have seen that I am investigating why people get fat and why people stay fat and why it becomes so difficult for people, particularly those with insulin resistance, with type 2 diabetes and with metabolic syndrome, to have a chance of losing that weight. And if you watch them, you'll discover that insulin is probably the culprit, in that it shoves fat into fat cells, but it won't let it back out again. Now, I think that's pretty important, to not blame insulin, but instead to blame carbohydrates, and that's where I'm going with this. I am pretty much convinced that a low carb diet is the best way to lose weight. I am also convinced that losing weight is the best way to put diabetes into remission, at least, and reverse it, which I'm increasingly, I believe that it's possible to do that. And those are my two ambitions: lose a load of weight, get rid of the diabetes, and everything else will follow on from there. The lowering of risk of heart disease, etc., etc., etc. It goes on and on and on. You know, you've listened to me going on and on and on for a couple of days now, while I've been rabbiting about insulin and low carb diets. So I'm increasingly less convinced that Exante is going to provide all the answers that I'm looking for. And on the other hand, I'm 13 kilos lighter. Now, how much advice do you need? How much proof do you need to know that it's working? Excuse me, while I just move my camera around. Oh, terrific! Now we've got a load of reflections, so I'll move it back that way again, so we can have at least another Union Jack. Look, 1, 2, 3 Union Jacks in the picture. I don't know whether I should continue with the video or salute. Right, look, so this is basically it. So I find that I am now struggling with the diet. I'm struggling to maintain my motivation to keep eating Exante products, particularly when I look around on the label, for instance, of one of the porridges, to find that it's 35% carbs. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to need to gird my loins as such for this, I am going to stick to this like glue and like stuff to blankets. The diet will be back on. I have to say that at least for the past week, I'm not saying I've been down the chip shop or having pizzas delivered or anything like that, but I'm saying that I found it a bit of a struggle to stick to 4 products a day. I've maybe snuck an extra one in, or I've tucked into the prawns, or I haven't had bread, I haven't had booze or anything like that, but I know I'm not doing as well as I should be doing. So I think as of the rest of today, rather than say it starts tomorrow, the rest of today and from now on until the end of the month, we're going to give it everything we've actually got in order to get through this. Meanwhile, I will deplete my Exante stocks, and as you can see, there, I just had a new delivery of primarily pot meals, because I find that they fill me up a little bit more than a bar. I've gone off the bars a little bit as well, you see. And I wonder whether it's just a bit of diet fatigue, in that I've been on it for 2 months now. And I'm wondering whether I'm just getting a little bit cheesed off with it. No, maybe it's one of these things where you just take a week off and just go mental. And maybe you're not allowed to say go mental anymore. I don't know. I'm getting old. Leave me alone. I'm getting senile. And just go crazy for a week and just do what I want, or eat what I want, and then get back in. But I really don't want to do that, because you don't want to like come back to it half a stone heavier than you were when you left it. It's a bit, I think it's a bit immature, really. Anyway, what we're going to do, we're just going to get stuck into it, re-motivate myself, and at least take it to the end of this month. I wrote to my dietitian. I sent her an email asking her to compare the two, asking her for her opinions. And her opinion was purely and simply that not to do either of them for more than 3 months at a time. A low-carb diet is more adaptable in the long term. And I think eventually I will be moving across to a low-carb diet, because I think the carbs are the big enemy of the 21st century. And I think I will have to let Exante go, and I'm going to monitor that for the next 3 months. So that would be October, November, December. So January 1st, I'm either going to continue with my new life with a low carb diet, or I'm going to be tail between my legs and coming back to Exante. So that's all I can really say at the moment. I'm going to do my very best for the rest of the month, and we're going to see where this September challenge takes me. And hopefully we'll be able to say that I lost a good deal of weight. I was 155.1. No, it wasn't. I was 145.1. And I think that it would be a failed experiment if I don't get under 140. So there's the challenge. And we will find out in a couple of weeks' time, won't we? All right, look, take care of yourselves. Stick with it. Stay strong, and I hope you're succeeding this month better than I am. But all the same, let's get stuck in. Cheers now. Bye-bye. Take care.